Hello and welcome back. Welcome back. This is going to be a little short one. Answer a few questions that I've gotten over the years, and one just recently. Um, about, I had somebody ask me, how do you know when people say I need to get my guitar set up? What do they mean? Well, ordinarily, what that means is they want to have, first of all, the first thing it's going to do, and you need to find a luthier. A luthier is a guitar technician, a craftsman, not some guy with tools, not some guy you know that's good with wood or, no. You need a luthier, a guy who's been doing it for many, many years, okay? I've got a great guy. Every guitarist needs a guy. I got a great guy. His name is Jerry Lucas, and in fact, he built this custom-made acoustic electric for me. I use this to record with a lot of the time because the sound is just so good. Jerry Lucas, this is a Lucas special. These are one-of-a-kind instruments. These are not, factory made. There are not 400 guitars out there like this one. This is the only one. Yeah, I paid a pretty penny for it. Worth every nickel. Trust me. You need a luthier. When someone says, I need to get my guitar set up, I need to get this one set up. So naturally, I would take it back to the guy that built it, right? But I take all my other guitars to him too. When someone says, I need my guitar set up, they're looking specifically for three things. First, they want to true the neck, which means if there's a bow or anything in the neck, if the neck is, not completely flat, they're going to want to get that fixed, right? A luthier will straighten that out for you. You might be able to do it yourself. You may not get it perfect the first time. I don't do any of my guitar maintenance because it's not what I specialize in. I take mine to my guy. Get a guy. Trust me. My guy is a genius. I call him Dumbledore because he is a wizard with stringed instruments. A wizard. What they mean is they want to get the neck trued flat. Absolutely flat. No upward bow, no downward bow. Absolutely flat. That's the first thing that needs to get done. The second thing is a luthier is going to look at the frets. And if there are any worn spots or rough spots, he's either going to smooth them out, file them down, or he may have to install a new fret. I just had two of my guitars refretted not too long ago. I wanted different frets. I wanted bigger frets, jumbo frets, right? He put jumbo frets on this one because I asked him to, because I like jumbo frets, okay? First thing is to true the neck. Second thing is to check the frets to make sure if you've got dead spots anywhere on the neck. No, spots where it buzzes or a little bit, you'll get fret buzz. They'll fix that for you, okay? They'll either sand the frets even, okay, with a very, very gentle sandpaper, or they may have to replace the fret, but they'll bring that fret down to the height of the surrounding frets so that it's not higher or lower. If it's ordinarily a new fret's going to be a little bit thicker. So what they'll do is they'll put the new fret in, and then they'll sand it to the basic height of the frets around it so that it's not higher than everything else. The next thing, and perhaps the most important thing, is called setting the intonation. Okay, when you put new strings on and you tune it up, right? This string open is going to show a perfect E, as long as you keep it tuned. But the problem with that is you're not necessarily setting the intonation. And what the intonation is, if I hit this note E and it's perfectly in tune, and then I hit this harmonic E at the 12th fret, is it also perfect? That's intonation. And they set that based on the distance and the height between the bridge and the nut. Okay? That's very, very important. You should do it more often than I do. I get mine done maybe twice a year. Some guys will say you need to set the intonation every time you change strings. I've never really found that to be true. About every fourth, maybe fifth string change, I'll get the neck, the intonation set and the neck trude. I got a bunch of guitars, right? And setting it up is $40 a pop. Well, I got 7 of them. That can get kind of pricey over the course of a year. Doing that twice a year can get pricey. So I do it maybe once a year nowadays, and I'll shuffle them in. I'll bring 2 in at a time. Here, do these 2. Then I'll bring 2 more in. Here, do these 2. So setting the intonation, make sure that when you press the note here, that's an A, right? That's an A. When you go up 12 frets beyond that, that's also going to be a perfect A. Setting that intonation is best done by a luthier, okay? Primarily because a simple tuner won't show you the minute differences in this A and this one. You need a strobe tuner for that. Something a little bit more fancy than most of us have at home. I don't tune with a strobe tuner. I bought one of those off-the-rack guitar tuners that everybody uses. So setting the intonation is important so that these notes are the same up here and this one's pretty good. I do need to get the intonation set on it though. And I have one dead spot on my high E string, and I'm probably going to have to get a fret either sanded smooth or replaced. That tone is not nearly as full as I would like for it to be. You hear the difference? Same pick attack. Listen to the difference. There's my F, first fret, and then open. You hear that buzz? I'm probably going to have to get a fret replaced, one of them. He'll set a fret gauge on and he'll check every single one of them, make sure that they're all exactly the same height. Get a guy. Get a luthier. Trust me on this one, okay? Look around. Ask guys that you know that play guitar. Go to music stores and ask them who they use for their guitar repairs. If you want to drop it off at a music, I've never been comfortable with dropping my guitar off at a music store because all they're going to do, they're not going to fix it there. They're going to send it out to somebody else. Well, why not just skip the middleman and go right to the somebody else? Get a guy, okay? If you're anywhere in the, Henry County area in Georgia, Jerry Lucas is the guy you want to call. This guitar was built by him. To my specifications, what I wanted. It's got, although it sounds like an acoustic, it plays like an electric. It's got an electric style neck on it. It's got a C neck, a C-shaped neck, like the old Fenders used to have, the old Strats. The old Strats. You see how thin it is? It's so light. It's so comfortable to play. And he set it up at the time I was recovering from a stroke and I didn't have a lot of strength in my left hand. So I couldn't really fret all that well, and I couldn't deal with really thick acoustic guitar strings. The sound of an acoustic guitar is more dependent on string thickness than electric is, because pickups will take a lot of, I use a hybrid set of electric strings, skinny top and heavy bottom. But acoustic guitar strings need more meat to them to get better play, to get better sound. You want them to sound full. Well, he fixed it up so that the pickup down here, the piezo pickup, is closer to the strings for me so that I don't have to put thick strings on it. I can put a medium or a light acoustic string on it and it sounds so full. Nice and full. I can use thin strings, sort of thin strings on it, and it sounds great. He is a genius. He's a wizard. I worship the work he does. You You can find him on Facebook, as a matter of fact, at Lucas Stringed Instruments. You could custom order. You can order a custom acoustic electric like this one here. You're going to pay for it, brothers. It's expensive. It ain't cheap. It's the most expensive guitar that I've bought in the last, say, 20 years, period. Most expensive one I ever bought was my Fender. It was a 50th anniversary Super Strat, right? It had all these great great upgrades based on the 1954, and then they added some really cool stuff to it. So that was the most expensive guitar I ever bought. But this one was the next, and it was worth every penny. I do need to get it set up again. I need to get the intonation kind of figured out a little bit. I need to get the frets checked and everything, but it still sounds great. Custom made, man. I love it. I just love it. Get a guy. Find a luthier. Go to a music store. Talk to friends that you know. You can kind of look them up. You can look them up on YouTube, or you can, or rather on Google. Search your area, right, and just put in that term, luthier, Luthier. Or you can also just put in guitar repair. Luthier is the fancy name. But I have a luthier. I don't have a guitar technician. I have a luthier. He is a master craftsman, okay? That's the difference between a technician and a luthier. A luthier is a master craftsman at what they do. Master, okay? So, that's kind of just a quick little, a little advice. If you want modifications done to your guitar, now, I'm an electrician. That does not mean that I am qualified to change pickups on my guitars. I'm not qualified to work necessarily on some of the electronics because these aren't powered things that I'm dealing with. So I take it to my luthier. I'm like, dude, this pickup doesn't work for me. I'm going to take my Ibanez to him very soon. This one right here. I'm going to take my Ibanez to him very, very soon. And I'm going to get a new neck pickup put in because I want something with a little bit more anger, a little more heat. I want a little hotter pickup in that neck position. The bridge pickup is perfect. It's perfect for what I do. But find a qualified craftsman. Make sure that he is top of the line. Top of the line. Okay? Don't settle for some guy who's good with wood. It's not the same thing. Okay? If you need repairs, get your guitar set up right now. I only do mine because I have so many. I only do them all pretty much once a year. If you've only got one or two guitars, you should get them done about every 6 months. Okay? And that takes up, that makes up for the differences in the seasons. If your guitar sits in your house for 6 months, you've got air conditioning on, if you're lucky. For me, it's 8 months. But that air conditioning, that cool, dry air, tends to make the neck bow a little bit in one direction. Well, in the winter, when I turn the heat on, it's warm, wet air. So it makes the neck bow in the opposite position. So twice a year, I would have to go and get the neck trued out. But he does such a good job, it lasts a lot longer, too. So about twice a year. Every time you change your heating system from heat to air, you probably ought to get your guitar, set up for you. They're going to true the neck first. They're going to take a look at your frets, make sure the frets are all good, and then they're going to put strings on it and then set the intonation so that your intonation is perfect, so that this note is the same as this note 12 frets away. Perfect. They both have to be perfect, right? It's no good to have an E that's perfect here and an E that's 4 cents flat here. Doesn't sound good. Okay? They need to be perfect. This one actually is probably really close. This is a little harder to do. Being an acoustic, it's harder to set the intonation on this. So it's really good the way it is right now. But there are just little minor things that I want to have done to it. That's all. I want to make sure the frets are all, the right height. I want to make sure that the neck is trued out completely so that it's perfectly flat. Because again, heating and air conditioning, they're going to change the way that neck reacts. Okay? Air conditioning generally is worse because it's dry. It's very dry. You want a little bit of humidity in the air to keep the wood, you know, from drying out. You don't want the wood on the neck, especially. You don't want the wood on the neck to go dry. That's not good for it. Okay? So this little baby, you can go on Facebook, Jerry Lucas, Lucas. It's called Lucas Stringed Instruments. Okay? It's a little slightly out of tune. I need to put some new strings on it. Lucas Stringed Instruments. You can order a custom-made acoustic electric. It's worth it. If you're the advanced level, pro level guitarist, a professionally built custom acoustic guitar is a good idea for you. Okay, especially if you're recording. All right, so that's it for today. All right, that's it for this time. All right, next time we got a lot of good stuff coming up. I'm going to help you figure out alternate strumming, how to get your strumming really, 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 really tight. All right, that's all for now. Bye-bye.